Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and another video. If you are new here, my name is Nicole and I make bookish related content once a week on the internet. If this video is something you enjoy, please feel free to hit that subscribe button. It would be great to have you guys stick around. So today's video is a bit of a different concept to what I normally do. If you've been around for the last 12 or so months, you would know that I am a self-proclaimed terrible rater of books. So I am that person that if I read it and I enjoyed it, I'm like 5 stars. The idea of rating anything less than 5 stars is just traumatizing to me. That's a bit traumatic, but I'm not very good at rating my books. I'm also especially worse at rating my books by my favorite authors. They're all automatic 5 stars, even if I don't actually like it that much. And in my head, a bad rating for a book is 3.5 stars, which in actual fact, if you think about it, 3.5 stars is still a really damn good rating. But my brain's like 3 stars, that means it's bad, but it's actually not the case. I thought that it could be kind of interesting to go back and look at the books that I read in 2023 and re-rate them, because I've had a chance now to sit with those books for a minimum of about 5 months to a maximum of a year, and I think I'm in a much better place to actually give some accurate ratings of these books. And we're probably gonna change a lot of the ratings on these books because I can see the ratings that I've given them and I'm just like, lol, no. So if you enjoy this video, please feel free to give it a like and hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed. And Oliver is here with me today. I'm screen recording, so I will put up everything that you can see on my phone. I currently use an app called Bookmory. This isn't sponsored, and it's just how I track my reading. And it's something I've started this year and I'm really quite enjoying it. Previously, I've used Goodreads and I just don't like it at all. I don't think it's user friendly or anything like that. I think it's a bad time. So I stopped using it for a couple years and then I started doing a reading book journal, which I quite liked. But then last year I decided that I really wanted to use some sort of other book app and I discovered Bookmory and I'm really quite enjoying it. A couple months back, I went and inputted all of 2023's books and ratings, and you can see my main screen right now. That's the book I'm currently reading when I'm filming this. And you just have like your book calendar, for example, which just shows you what you've read for the month. This isn't a spoiler because this is going up after my May reading wrap up, so you already know all this. I've got daily statistics, which I don't really use because you have to pay for it. And then we have annual statistics, which tells you like how many books you've read each month, where your goals are currently at. So like my goal on this app is to get to 90 books. Everywhere else I've said 60, but I would like to get to 90. So I wanted to just sort of trial it on this app. At this stage, I've read 42 books and I'm 47% of the way through this challenge. And then it just sort of gives you stats and like your average star rating and what you've rated each book. You do have the option to change the year. So we're going into 2023, which I read 81 books. My goal was to read 60. I read an average of 6.8 books a month, and the most books I read was in September, which was 10 books. So it has your average star rating, like what ratings did you give each one the most. And then you've also got read time statistics, which I don't use because I don't record how long it takes me to read. And I'm just gonna fly through to the bottom of the list so we can get to January. And we're just going to rate the books. I've got to click on them to go in and change their rating, but some of them I won't. So first up, we have Baby It's Cold Outside by Emily Bell. I hated this book. 1 star is accurate. I don't need to change it. Then the next one I have is Spare by Prince Harry. I don't like to rate biographies or memoirs, but I don't think it's a 3 star. So let's just make it 2 stars and then we'll just save it. Let's see like what I changed my star ratings to. It's currently on an average of 3.8. We'll see what we can get it down to. So then we have This Time Next Year by Sophie Cousin. And I also gave that 1 star and that's accurate. I really didn't enjoy that book. So we're just going to leave it at 1 star. And then I only read 4 books in January. That's pathetic. And then the next book I read was All the Tides of Fate. And I gave that 2.5 stars. And I kind of want to change it to 2 stars because I really didn't enjoy that book. All right, and then we move into February and we have Heart Bones by Colleen Hoover, which I have freaking given 3.5 stars. 2. 1.5? Yeah, 1.5. I think that is one of her worst novels. I really hate that. Okay, and then we go into the 3 Ali Hazelwood books, which was the bind-up novella Loath to Love You, and that had Under One Roof, then Stuck With You, and then Below Zero. There are some people that don't rate novellas higher than a 4 star because they're not a full novel. I'm not that person, and I will give them 5 stars. And I really liked Under One Roof. For me, that is a 5 star rating. I really quite enjoyed it. The only thing I didn't like about it was that it wasn't long enough, but I'm going to keep it 5 stars. Then we had Stuck With You, which I did still quite enjoy, but not as much as Under One Roof. So I am kind of okay to leave that at 4.5 stars. And then Below Zero, I gave 4 stars, which it was my least favorite out of the 3, and I'm comfortable keeping it the 4 stars. I don't think that's a bad rating. We then come to Built to Last by Erin Hahn. I didn't like this book, and 3 stars is too high. I'm going to drop it down to 2 stars because I really didn't enjoy the characters. I just found the whole book and the tropes annoying, and I hated the concept, and I think 2 stars is more appropriate for it. And then we go to Chain of Thorns by Cassandra Clare, 5 stars. We're changing absolutely nothing. I loved that book by her. Sorry, Ollie's decided to pull his blanket up and it's all over the tripod. Chain of Thorns, 5 stars, not changing that. And then this one, like, makes me mad. I've given The Royals Next Door by Karina Hale 3 stars. I hated this book so much. I'm giving it 1.5 stars because it actually wasn't a good book. I couldn't cope with the comparisons to Prince Harry and Meghan, and it was just ridiculous. It was absurd. And then Wild Place by Christian White, I gave 3.5 stars. I'm okay with leaving it at that. And then we go into March, which I have Well Matched by Jen DeLuca at 3 stars. And you know what? I think 3 stars is accurate, and I'm gonna leave it as 3 stars. And then we have these Hollow Vows and these Twisted Bonds. I gave both of them 4.5 stars, and honestly, they're both 4-star reads for me. Everyone kept saying they were ACOTAR, they were YA for ACOTAR, and you know what? That's right, but they're also not as good as ACOTAR. So 4 stars for both of them. And then we go into By Your Side by Casey West, and I freaking hated this book. It was torture. 1 star. Yeah. I don't think I fully read it properly. I'm pretty sure I skim-read stuff and I lost brain cells. So 1 star. Then The Italian Job, I've given 2.5 stars. And I kind of think 2 stars is more appropriate because I also didn't like that book. It was just the writing style didn't work for me. Yep, so Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. I gave it 3.5 stars. You know what? It's 3 stars. I didn't really enjoy it that much, but I am contemplating picking up the sequel just because the books look really cute, and I think I gave it an extra 0.5 star for the aesthetic. And then you joking? We go into Ever Cursed by Corey Ann Haydu, and I've given it 3 stars. I hated that book. 1.5 stars. It was not good. I just hated the whole concept. It was just terrible, like princess's curse, and this witch who cursed them did it because of what the king did to her mother, and I just didn't like it. Yeah, so not a fan. 3 stars was way too high. We then have Daughter of Sparta by Claire Andrews, and you know what? 3.5 stars is also too high. I would drop that down to 2.5, just because I didn't like the main character. I didn't like the storyline. I didn't like the gods in it. And I just didn't think it was that good. Oh, God. We then go into Terms and Conditions by Laura Asher. I've given it 3 stars. And you know what? 2.5. I really like this type of book. The Dreamland Billionaires series is everything that I hate. I hate the toxic men traits like that and the horrible, like those types of relationships. I want a golden retriever boyfriend. Okay, I don't want the man trying to claim me as property or anything like that and thinking that he can control my life and dictate how it goes. I'm not into that trope. I don't like it. That's the main reason why I rated them so low. And then we have Twisted Games and Twisted Hate by Anna Huang. They basically have the same concept, and you know what? I hated it. 2.5 stars. Twisted Games, I think, was the better one out of the 3 that I've read. Twisted Hate can have 2 stars because I just hate those tropes and everything those books represent. Like, it's not for me. I don't enjoy it. But that is the end of April. And then we go into May, which was also 4 books. Wow. Just like the difference in what I've managed to read now. We go into, The American Roommate Experiment by Eleanor Armas. I've given it 5 stars. Was it a 5-star read? I mean, I'm tossing up between 4.5 stars and 5. I did like it more than the Spanish Love Deception, but was it 5-star worthy? I'm going to leave it at 5 stars, and if I change my mind, that's fine. So then we go into Happy Place by Emily Henry. If you've seen my dedicated Emily Henry book video that came out last month in May, I literally spoke about all of Emily Henry's novels. I even rated them and gave you guys my ranking. So if you've seen that, you would know that I dropped it down to 4.5 stars. Did I give it 4? No, I think I gave it 4 stars. I think I did give it 4 stars in all honesty. So I just didn't like it as much as the other ones. And then this really shocks me. I think I had a typo here because the next book is Realm Breaker by Victoria Aveyard, and I've given it 4.5 stars. And I, for the life of me, cannot understand why on earth I would have given it 4.5 stars, because it sure as hell is not a 4.5 star book. That is more like 2 stars. I really did not enjoy reading this book. It was a struggle. I didn't enjoy the storyline. So you now have 2 stars. We then have Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. I gave it 4.5 stars. I gave it 4.5 stars because everybody else on the internet really, really loved it. And to be honest, I didn't really like this book, so 3 stars. The only thing I liked about it was the plot twist at the end that I didn't see coming, but the rest of it, you can just leave it because I wasn't here for it. And then we move into June, which we actually decided to read some books in June. And the first book that we had was The Paris Connection by Lorraine Brown. I remember nothing about this book, so 3.5 stars. I just don't remember anything about this book, so why the hell have I rated it 4.5 stars if I don't remember anything about it? Excuse Me While I Ugly Cry by Joya Goffney, 3 stars. I don't remember much about it. I didn't really enjoy it that much, but I liked it more than other ones I've read, so 3 stars. We then have A Brush with Love by Maisie Eddings. I gave it 4 stars, and you know what? I am happy with that rating. I don't think that I need to change it. And then we move into Welcome to the Neighborhood by Lisa Rowe. I gave it 4.5 stars, and you know what? I'm gonna drop it down to 4 because it was good, but it wasn't 4.5 star worthy. We then move into Icebreaker by Hannah Grace, and I've given it 3.5 stars, and you know what? 2.5 stars. I did not like this book. It could have been better. I just didn't like the main characters, in all honesty, and I didn't think it was that good, so we're changing it. Now, Love Theoretically was a 5-star read by Ali Hazelwood, and you best believe she's still a 5-star read. We're changing nothing. It is still my favorite Ali Hazelwood novel. Ask me that question after her new one comes out. I might change my opinion. And then we have Gravebriar by Casey L. Bond, which I've given 4 stars. It took me 10 days to read it, so you were not a 4-star read. Let's give you 3.5 stars. Could have been better. It was still a good book, though. We then move into Not Your Ex's Hexes by April Asher. I just didn't like this as much as the first one by her, so we're gonna give it 4 stars instead. It's not 4.5 stars. We then have Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez, and I've given that 5 stars, and you know what? I really, really enjoyed that book, and I'm happy for it to stay 5 stars. We then have Here for the Drama by Kate Bromley. This was the theatre one, and it was 4.5 stars I gave it, and you know what? 3.5 stars. I didn't like it that much. It was disappointing in comparison to the other ones. We then have Meet Me in the Margins by Melissa Ferguson. I also gave it 4.5 stars, and you want to know what? I struggled to read it a little bit and get engaged with the characters and relate to them. 3.5 stars. Blade Breaker, I've also given 3.5 stars, but what did I give Realm Breaker to? So you know what? You can also be 2 stars because I can't remember which one I liked better. They were both pretty bad. We then have Ready Player One, which I gave 3.5 stars. That was a book that I read for a book club I was in last year. I'm okay to leave it at 3.5 stars. I thought it was an alright read. We then have Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. I'm going to drop it down to 4 stars. I had to try reading it twice. I did find the content a little bit slow and heavy at times. 4 stars is still a really good rating, and I'm okay with keeping it at that. That was July. We're now in August, and the first book I read was Kingdom of the Wicked by Kerry Maniscalco. I gave it 4 stars, and you know what? 3.5 stars. I don't think it was a 4-star read. We then have Chef's Kiss by TJ Alexander. I gave it 5 stars, and I'm okay with keeping it there. I really enjoyed it. I'll think on it, maybe change it. We then have Kingdom of the Curse by Kerry Maniscalco, and I gave it 4 stars, and you know what? I think it's still 3.5 stars as well. We then have Kingdom of the Feared by Kerry Maniscalco, and I gave it 4.5 stars, but honestly, I think 4 stars is a better rating for it. For me, I had the unpopular opinion that I thought the books got better the further along we went. We then have Hang the Moon, which I rated 4.5 stars. And you know what? 3.5 stars. It could have been better, babes. We then have Count Your Lucky Stars. Sorry, this is by Alexandra Bellefleur, both those 2 books. I gave them 4.5 stars, but honestly, this one was 4 stars. I enjoyed this one the most out of the 3 books that I've read. We then have Too Late by Colleen Hoover. I gave it 2.5 stars. That's generous. 1/2 star. I said what I said, babes. It was not good. I know I don't do 1/2-star ratings in my book journal, but honest to God, I freaking hated that book and everything. It was just so stupid. We then go into September, which was the month where I read 10 books, and the first one I read was The No-Show. That was a reread for me by Bethany O'Leary. I did originally rate it 5 stars when I first read it. I gave it 4.5 stars, and you know what? It's probably more a 4-star read for me, in all honesty. It's the second time I've read it, and I didn't enjoy it as much the second time as I did it the first time, so I think 4 stars is a bit more accurate. The Shadow Between Us by Trisha Levenseller, I gave 4 stars. I didn't really like that book. 2.5 stars, in all honesty. Like, this was about this female main character who wanted to marry the Shadow King just so she could kill the Shadow King and take over his powers for herself. And she's like, I'm a bad bitch, I murder people. And she just wasn't. She was a spoilt brat and I hated her and I couldn't stand her, and 2.5 stars. And then we have Butterflies That Never Die. I gave it 4.5 stars. Babes, you know what? You're actually 3.5 stars. Look at me being honest. Then we have The Soulmate by Sally Hepworth. I gave it 3.5 stars. And you know what? I'm okay with that rating. I think that's accurate. And then we have The Dragon and the Queen by Caitlin Davies. I gave it 4 stars and I just 3.5. Like, those fantasy novels, they were tough to get through for me and I wasn't a fan. Lucky Leap Day, I gave 4.5 stars, but honestly, it's not stuck with me, so 4 stars. And then we go into Hooked by Emily McIntyre. I gave it 3.5 stars, but honestly 2. It just had tropes and themes in it that I personally do not enjoy. And then The Matchbreaker Summer, who's the author? By Annie Raines. I gave it 2 stars and honestly 1.5. I couldn't stand the main character. She was a spoilt brat and the mum was an idiot. Manacled by, is it Sim Lee Yu or something? Gave it 2 stars, honestly, 0.5 star. I hated it. I do not understand why people really like it. And then we go into Graceling by Kristen Cashaw. I rated it 3.5 stars, but honestly 2.5 stars. I haven't picked up the rest of the series and I have no interest in doing so. So 2.5 stars is far more appropriate. And then we go into the Love Light series by BK Borison. I have given Love Light Farms, In the Weeds and Mixed Signals all 5 stars. Honestly, they're not 5-star reads. I just got swept up in it. I do think Love Light Farms was my favorite. So it was 4 stars. 4.5 stars. I might drop them all down to 4.5 stars in all honesty. That feels a bit better. I then had Skin of the Sea by Natasha Bowen. I gave it 3 stars, but honestly 2 stars. I didn't really enjoy it that much at all. We then have The Long Game by Eleanor Armas. I also gave it 5 stars, and honestly that book has not stuck with me. So 3.5 stars because it could have been a lot more memorable. Jesus, am I going to have any 5 stars left over at the end of this? Probably not. Okay, and then we have The God Born on the King by Caitlin Davis. I also gave it 4 stars, and you know what? 3.5. You're not that good. I'm glad my mum died. I shouldn't rate memoirs, but 1 star. I just really didn't gel with that one at all. And then The Wake Up Call by Beth O'Leary wasn't my favorite one of hers, so 4 stars, in all honesty. All right. Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros is a 5-star read and I will maintain that. I loved that book. I don't care. I'm keeping it as that rating. Ciao for Now by Kate Bromley. I gave 4.5 stars. And you know what? I stand by it. I don't hate that rating. I think it's accurate. It can stay. Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. I also gave 5 stars. Do not come for me. I don't care that none of you liked it. I understand that you didn't. And that's fine. But yeah, Iron Flame, 5-star read for me. I'm keeping it as 5 stars. You can come at me. I don't care. We then had Checkmate by Ali Hazelwood. I also rated 5 stars. It's staying 5 stars. I loved it. I then had Never Never by Colleen Hoover and Taryn Fisher. I gave it 2 stars. The plotline was stupid. I hated it. 0.5 star. You Deserve Each Other by Sarah Hogle. I gave 4.5 stars and honestly not that good. 3.5 stars. That's better. Superhost by Kate Russo is probably the most accurate rating I've ever given, but 0.5 star because that's an insult to every other book that has ever been rated 1 star if I leave you at 1 star. I then have So This Is Christmas by Tracy Andreen. I gave it 4 stars. 3. Didn't like it that much. That was November. And then we just have December. So the last handful of books in December, the first one I read was The Rom-Com Agenda by Jane Denker. I really didn't enjoy this book. 2 stars. I'm an idiot with my ratings. I didn't enjoy it. Then I have Kiss Her Once for Me by Alison Cochrane. I also didn't enjoy this book. 2 stars. The Xmas Holidays, I gave 4.5 stars, and you know what? I'm going to stand by that. I did really, really quite enjoy it. Friends with Benefits by Roxy. I gave 4.5 stars. Honestly, 3.5. I don't remember anything about it. I think I was just, being nice to myself. Then Charming the Alpha, I gave 1 star, but honest to God, I can give 0.5 star ratings on this app, so that's what we're doing. Dumbest thing I've ever read. It was a train wreck that I couldn't turn off. And then we had The Christmas Escape, and honestly 2.5 stars. I didn't like it that much. And then Rebel Rose I gave 3 stars, but honestly it was a 2-star read that I didn't enjoy very much. So that is me re-rating all of these books. So what does that mean? My star rating average went from 3.8 to 3.1. That's not that bad. Hasn't changed that much. Alrighty guys, so that was me re-rating all of my 2023 reads. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have read any of the books that I have mentioned, feel free to drop your ratings in the comments below, and I will see you guys in my video for next week. Bye!